I'm excited to use some stickers that I've never used before. Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and in today's plan with me, I'm using two sticker books that I have not used before. We have Spring Fields from the Happy Planner, soft, beautiful colors, and then we have Lady and the Tramp, also soft, beautiful, and I'm excited to see if I can make these two books work well together. We'll kind of see how it goes. I'm going to be working in the checklist layout in the grande size. I will put you guys on fast forward. I will link the Happy Planner down below. Otherwise, let's go. The key to mixing two sticker books that are seemingly unrelated is to find the common colors or the common theme. And in this case, the common color is a beautiful dusty pink color. It shows up in Lady's coat. Her beautiful fur has the same color in it. And then it also shows up in a few of the florals and boxes that you have from the second sticker book. So I feel like they can build off each other in that way. It was giving me beautiful spring garden floral themes. So Spring Fields is the name of the spring sticker book, but it's very much in the neutrals. And then Lady and the Tramp, some of these images had gorgeous florals, a little bit more cartoony. So what I decided to do was really build up the wildflower feel that I wanted from Spring Fields from that sticker book. So every time I put down a Lady in the Tramp sticker, I then surrounded it with the other florals as if they were just running through the meadows, living their best life. And I'm going to combine those two so that they're evenly represented in each of these clusters. So I already know that the color I'm going to emphasize is that dusty rose color. And then I know that the florals are really what I want to bring to the forefront because that is something else that the two books have in common. I am building all of my clusters on top of these sticker guides. These are available from the Happy Planner. They're great for allowing you to kind of plan out your stickers in advance. I'm kind of building the clusters here, and then once I'm happy with what they look like, I'll transfer these. In this case, for this spread, I started with the main decorative element. That's not always what I do. It kind of depends on the week. This particular week that I am planning for is one of our last weeks in Virginia, and I know there's not a lot on the schedule. There will be a lot of to-dos going on, but not a ton on the schedule. And so I knew I could emphasize the decorative a little bit more. Now that my kids are out of school, it just kind of changes the function of my everyday planner, or at least my weekly planner. So I can emphasize the decorative a little bit more. So I actually started with decorative elements this time around. Once I feel good about these big decorative elements, you can see I balanced really carefully, two on one side, two on the other. Then I will start working to add functional boxes. The tricky part with this, I struggled a little bit with the functional boxes, and you'll see that because I had already put down these decorative elements, I was having a little bit of trouble balancing the functional boxes, meaning the sizes of the boxes that I loved were not fitting just ever so perfectly in the space that was left for those boxes. It's kind of a tricky Tetris game to play sometimes. It's fun and challenging, and it's one of the reasons we love creative planning, but it can be a little bit tricky. So once I get these clusters down onto the actual paper, I bring back in the sticker guides because now we got to plan boxes, and I have no idea what boxes are going to go where, how they're going to fit, all of that business. So I start with Spring Fields, trying to figure out, okay, I really like this. This has that dusty rose color. That kind of makes sense to bring in. I'm going to start kind of placing things on the sticker guides. It was just, it wasn't working. Things were too crowded. Elements that were big didn't look good right next to each other. So for instance, this double box right here with the gold, I love, but it didn't look good next to another very large singular element that you have in that oval shape. It just wasn't balancing very nicely. I didn't like what it looked like. So I moved things around. I played with color. I just tried to figure out what would go best. This floral piece needed to very carefully be removed. Whew, thank goodness it came off. Then I'm going to put this here, and I had to just turn the floral piece around. So it was coming from the box and not from the sticker, which makes total sense and goes very nicely. So that was looking weird. I didn't like where that was going, but you know where it does look good? Right here, because the large element to the right of this double box has a lot of smaller elements to it. It has all the little characters. It's not one big in your face element. It kind of provides a little bit more balance to the spread that way. I still needed to bring in a little bit more of the dusty rose, which I will do through functional boxes. These frames, beautiful. Jumping back to the Lady and the Tramp sticker book, this would look very nice over here. We're going to bring it over here. Yes, it overlaps the task list. No, I'm not super worried about that. I am worried about putting it down crooked though. That's not going to work. We're going to put this in right over here. It almost looks like a little gallery wall over in the corner there, which I totally dig that look. Balancing that out with some gold on the left-hand side because I have the gold on the right-hand side. We'll balance it with gold on the left and another one of those beautiful frames. But I can't just have that there. I've got to have some dusty rose mixed in as well. So let's go ahead and add one of these functional boxes. Perfection. And then I needed a more, what I'm going to call neutral. It is not neutral at all. It is a color for sure, but because it is a repeated color and pattern, it feels a little bit more neutral. And that is from the Spring Fields sticker book. There is one that is that dusty pink, some functional boxes that will go really nicely. So I'm going to start pulling those. Oh, I forgot. I found this first. This one says good things are coming. I love that because this is the week that we are heading out. Yay. Okay, now I'm going to start playing with some other stickers. I thought, let's embrace the long box. Nope, that's not going to work. Let's try a, nope, that's not going to work. It just, you guys, sometimes the best laid plans. I almost even put that sticker down. That would have been a nightmare. It just didn't fit well right there. Does that ever happen to you? Like you love a sticker, you just can't make it work in the space. And it's especially tricky. Combining the two sticker books, not for the faint of heart. It's not necessarily super easy, but it is fun. Does provide a nice challenge. All right, here's that quote unquote neutral box that I was talking about. I like it there. So now let's play with neutral boxes, what I'm calling neutral, that are in that dusty rose. Let's put them a few other places where it makes sense for them, where it makes sense for them to kind of live their best life. Okay, this one's going to overlap. I actually end up changing that later to incorporate some more florals, but that's okay. I wanted to do a little bucket list moment over here in the left-hand sidebar, the last few things that we want to do while we are in Virginia. So I have the title box right there, and then we'll do some bullet point-esque, some flag stickers down there on the left-hand side. I'm trying to figure out if I can find flag stickers. These pages where it's like faux washi, I'm not a fan of the whole, it's really hard to find what you're looking for. Not a huge fan of those. I wish they would change that so you could actually see the pattern that you were going for. Okay, I do find flag stickers, I promise. I'm just looking for bullet points at this point and they didn't have any, so that's why I had to switch to flag pictures. It was an adventure trying to find what we were looking for. Yep, these will go. The flag moments from Lady and the Tramp, we will add 5 little bullet points over here so that we can list our bucket list moments. This spread, actually, I fell more and more in love with it as I went. The more florals I added, the more I liked it because it really felt a little bit, I don't know, opulent, secret garden-esque. It doesn't feel to me like an over-the-top Lady and the Tramp spread. And I love me some Disney, and I love getting to do themed spreads like this, but I'm not necessarily someone that wants to open and see Lady and the Tramp a bunch in their planner. However, when you change up the theme, when you give it a little bit of a twist that creates something different and unexpected, I think that is much more fun to flip to in your planner. So for me, these wildflower florals that feel like they are just playing out in a meadow, that is what really drove this spread home to me. And the more I added a few here and there around some of the boxes that were feeling a little bit bare. I thought it came together very nicely. So I'm thinking the top needs a little bit more. I want to add one up here. I end up having to shift the box in a way that normally I wouldn't do. Normally I like to have boxes overlap. I don't necessarily line them up. However, this one just worked better. Shifting it over ever so slightly. That looks really nice. I need to cut off the end of these florals right here. Yay for my precision craft pen. We will very gently pull that up so it doesn't tear the paper. Tricky, tricky. Okay, then I wanted to bring in something over on Thursday with that box because it was what I would call an orphan box. It was by itself. Thought I could use this little remnant. Nope, that's not going to work. We're going to have to pull another wildflower cluster from Spring Fields, which is no big deal. There's plenty in here, so I'll be able to utilize that. After I get that into place, I'm feeling very good about the spread. What I'm going to do is actually end up whiting out the days of the week. I'm going to have them in gold. Originally, I was going to leave these days of the week and just find gold numbers. Well, I couldn't find any gold numbers. So we're going to go with gold days of the week. And then I will pull from Mojo Jojo Plans some really beautifully written numbers. And then that is going to be it for this planner spread this week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I will link the supplies that I used down in the description box below. Be sure to follow along. I'm hoping that by the time you guys see this video, I will be well on my way to getting my new studio set up and will be hopefully reopening the shop over at ScrappyWife.com very soon. So click that bell notification so you will definitely hear updates. Speaking of updates, if you're interested in some behind the scenes of setting up my new space after we move, Patreon is the place to be. I'm going to be sharing sneak peeks and little bits and pieces with my paid tiers over on Patreon. So head on over to patreon.com/ScrappyWife to find a tier that works for you. All right. I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.